Okay, so good evening, all. I welcome all of you on this webinar GET tutoring session on discrete mathematics. Discrete mathematics itself is having vast coverage of the syllabus. It has around 12 to 15 marks of weightage in the GET examination. So it will not be possible to cover each and every aspect, but we will see few classical examples of discrete mathematics that generally come in the examination, and we will try to solve those types of questions, and then ultimately we will also see few examples that generally come in the GET syllabus or GET questions. Okay, so we will start with set theory. We'll see some examples of probability and some examples of permutation and combination. So we are having two sessions today and tomorrow. So we'll try to finish few examples today and a few examples tomorrow. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible to you. Let me share my writing pad so that you will. Okay, so I will not be teaching you the exact theory of the each and every problem, but we will see as and when it is required. Okay, so I understand that you have already learned all those things in your second year, third year, and probably you are preparing for it and you remember those things. Okay, so let us start with problem number 1. So the question is like, find out the number of 4-digit numbers which can be formed from 6 digits: 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 8 without repetition. Okay. So the digits that are given to you are these 6 digits. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So the digits are 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 8. Okay. And you are asked to find a form of 4-digit numbers. So it will be like, say, D1, D2, D3, and D4. So 4-digit numbers are supposed to be formed. And the very important consideration is that it should be without repetition. Okay. So there should not be any repetition. So the thing is that if I choose the first digit, okay, let us say I choose the first digit out of this 6 digit. So how many possible choices I could have? So I can have 6 choices. Okay. So I have to make a one choice out of these 6 choices, because I cannot have two like that. Okay. So I'll have to select two, either 2 or 3 or 5 or 7 or 9 or 8. Okay. So for the first position, you have to have 6 choices. And then for the second position, the thing is that it should not be repeated. So ultimately you land up in having 5 choices. Okay. So if you select 2, then you have to make a choice out of this 5. And like that, for the third position, you have to have 4 choices. And like that, for the fourth position, you have how many choices? 3 choices. Okay, so these are the things for 4 digits with 4-digit number with 6 digits. Okay, and if you solve this, so ultimately it is 6 factorial divided by 1 factorial into 6 minus 5 factorial. Sorry, 6 minus 1 factorial into 5 factorial divided by 1 factorial into 5 minus 1 factorial into 4 factorial divided by 1 factorial into 4 minus 1 factorial into 3 factorial divided by 1 factorial into 3 minus 1 factorial. Okay, so if we solve this, it will be 6 minus 1 is 5 factorial, so 6 into 5 factorial divided by 5 factorial into 5 factorial, 1 factorial is 1, so 5 minus 1, so 5 factorial is nothing but 5 into 4 factorial and divided by 4 factorial, and like that it is 4 into 3 factorial divided by 3 factorial into 3 into 2 factorial divided by 2 factorial. So thing is that 5 get cancelled, 4 get cancelled, 3 gets cancelled. So ultimately you land up into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3. So this becomes 6 5 is 30, 34 is 120, 120 into 3, 360. Okay, so 360 4 digits numbers are possible out of these 6 digits without repetition. Okay, now I hope this is clear to you. Any doubt in this? If you have any doubt, please ask it in the chat window. Ultimately, I am not able to view the chat window. Okay, otherwise I will continue with the next problem. Any doubt in this? This is good. Okay, now the second problem is like a 5-digit number is formed by the digits 1 2 3 4 5. So you are given 5 digits and you have to form a 5-digit number without repetition again. And what is the probability? So find the probability that the number is divisible by 4. Okay, so it is kind of interesting question. So you have to find out the probability that number is divisible by 4. Okay, and the thing is that it should not be having the digit repeated. Okay, so the same thing that what we can do with this, but ultimately you have to find out again that particular set is restricted by this particular constraint, that it should not it should be divisible by 4. Okay, so let us start with how many such numbers are possible without repetition. So 5-digit number means for the first, and 5 numbers are there, right? So for the first position, so I'll say total numbers with 5-digit without repetition is equal to, for the first position you have 5 choices, right? Okay, then for the second position you have 4 choices, third position you have 3 choices. Okay, and then for the fourth position you remain with 2, and the last one you remain 1, because you have only 5 numbers. Huh? So it is ultimately nothing but 5 factorial. That is how much? 5 4 is 20, 3 is 20, 3 is 60, 60 into 2 is 120. Okay, so you just remember this number. So the total number of digits, 5 digits, or total numbers with 5 digits without repetitions out of this 5 are 120. Okay, now what about the divisible by 4? Okay, how many out of this 120 are divisible by 4? Okay, do you know the divisibility test of 4? So divisibility test of 4 says that divisibility test of 4, what it says, that last 2 digits must be divisible by what? 4. Okay, so you take any 4 digit, 5 digit, or any digit number, but the last 2 digits must be divisible by 4. So last 2 digit must be divisible by 4. Okay, so now since we have what we have, so let's say D, what we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then what are the possible digits that you can, what are the possible digits or 2-digit numbers you can take out of this 5 digits such that they are divisible by 4? So one you can find is 12. Okay, then you can see 32, and then you can see 24, and then you can see 52. Okay, that's it. Okay, these are the 4 combinations that you have out of these 5 digits which are divisible by 4, right? So ultimately for the 5-digit number, okay, so we have a choice to be made from this, either 12, 32, 24, and 52. Okay, so last 2 digits are now fixed. We have either choice number 1, choice number 2, choice number 3, or choice number 4. And then for the first 3 digits you have to make choices over here. Okay, so now how many choices we have to make over here? Now look at this. If you choose 12, or you choose any of these digits, these 1 and 2 will not be repeated. So how many choices you are left here? So you have left with only 3 choices, right? So because already 2 digits are used over here, so you have only 3 choices over here. And as you have used one of the digit over here, you remain with 2 choices over here, and then ultimately you remain with 1 choice over here. Okay, so for example, I'll take this example. So if you choose 1, 2, then you have to select either 3, 4, or 5. Okay, and if you select, let's say, 5, then you will have 3 or 4 over here. And if you select, let's say, 4 over here, then you will have only 3A. So the thing is that if you have to select this particular, so 3 choices here, 2 choices here, and 1 choices here for the first 3 digit, and then such 4 cases are there. So ultimately this will result into 3 into 2, 6, and these are the 4 choices. So this is 24. Okay, so 24 are the numbers that are divisible by 4 out of how many? 120. So the probability of this will be ultimately how much? So this will be 12. So it is 1 by 5. Okay, so the answer is now 1 by 5. Okay, so the probability that the number is divisible by 4 form out of these 5 digits such that the digits are not repeated. So the answer is, it is how much? 1 by 5. Okay, good. Any doubt in this? Please let me know. Is it going good? Okay. Yes. Okay. There is a question from, I think. Okay. From Pallavi madam, why are you taken 12, 52, 32? Okay. So what is the question? The question is that find the probability that the number is divisible by 4. Okay. So how do you know that the number is divisible by 4? Okay. For example, you know the number is divisible by 3. Okay. You know 36. So what do? 3 plus 6 is equal to 9. And this number is divisible by 3. So 36 is divisible by 3. So this is the divisibility test of 36. Okay, so what is the divisibility test of 4? The divisibility test of the 4 is that, so whatever number you have, let's say 5, 7, 3, 9, whatever. Okay, if the last two digits are divisible by, let's say it is 3, 2. If last two digits are divisible by 4, then the whole number is divisible by 4. Okay, so the thing is that this is the divisibility test of the, this is the divisibility test of 4, or divisibility rule of 4. Okay, sounds good? And that's why if you consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are the digits that are given in the problem. So how do we find the numbers that are divisible by 4? So take the combination of this 1, 2 become 12. This is divisible by 4. Then 3, 2 is divisible by 4. 2, 4, 24. That is divisible by 4. And ultimately 5, 2, 52 is divisible by 4. So the thing is that 12, 32, 24 and 52 are the 4 numbers that are divisible by 4. Okay, and since you have 4 cases for the last 2 digits, so what you remain is only with the first 3 positions, and that is 3 into 2 into 1. So that's why it is going to be 6 into 4 cases, so 24 out of 120 cases. Okay, any doubt? Okay, so shall we proceed with the next example? Okay, so maybe you will be finding it easy, but I have kept simple examples at the start. Okay, now this is little interesting. Okay, what will be the probability that a leap year selected at random contain 53 Sundays? Okay, so you select a leap year, any leap year, and it will have 53 Sundays. Okay. Shivani, can you keep your mic mute? Okay. So, what do you mean by leap year? A leap year? The year that is divisible by 4 is leap year, and centuries are not leap year. Okay, so we are not here to find the leap year, we are here to find the probability of 53 Sundays. Okay, so let us say you have a leap year, then how many days are there in the leap year? So in normal year you have 365 days. Okay, and leap year has one additional, so it will have 366 days. Okay, then how many weeks are there in that 366 days? So if you take 366 mod 7, so ultimately, or I'll just not say mod 7, I says by 7, so you'll have 52 weeks, and what you remain is with the 2 additional days. So what does it mean? You will have 52 weeks plus 2 extra days. Okay, good. So since you have 52 weeks, you will have 52 Sundays. Okay, and what about these 2? Are they going to be Sunday? I don't know. Okay, so what to do with this? So what are these 2 days? So these 2 days can be like, say, it can be Monday, Tuesday, it can be Tuesday, Wednesday, it can be Wednesday, Thursday, or it can be Thursday, Friday, or it can be Friday, Saturday, or it can be Saturday, Sunday. Okay, and it can be also Sunday and Monday. Okay, so 2 days can be, see, obviously it will be consecutive, it will not be Monday and Saturday. It will be Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday, Friday, Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, Monday. Okay. Now what we are interested in, we are interested in only in Sundays. So what is the probability that it will be either Saturday Sunday or it will be Sunday Monday? So the probability that how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So out of 7, what is the probability that it will be Sunday? It will be 2 by 7. Got it? Okay. Yes, any doubt in this? Let me know. Shall I proceed with the next example? Okay. So what is next? Yeah, this is interesting. Now look at this. This is a kind of principle of inclusion and exclusion. Okay, I hope you remember principle of inclusion and exclusion. So for you, I will, shall I write that rule? So if you have two sets, then the union of A and B is nothing but the total number of elements in A, size of that A union B is nothing but size of A plus size of B minus size of A intersection B. So this is general rule for this principle of inclusion and exclusion. Okay. So this here we have a little different example. Okay. So you are given with a 9-bit string length. Okay. So you want to find out how many bit strings are possible that start with one, or this is very important. This is very important because if the word changes from or to and, then the total meaning will have will change. Okay, so total number of strings will again be different. So that start with one or end with 00. That's 00. Okay, so let us start with how many of length 9 start with 1. Okay, so I say 9-bit string starting with, let's say, 1. Okay, so you have 1 in the first position, then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positions to be filled. Okay, so that is nothing but you have 2 raised to 8 possible strings. Okay, and like that a 9-bit string, sorry, not starting, it is what, ending. Okay, so ending with 00. Okay, and like that you have 00 in at the end, but what do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positions to be filled with 1 and zeros. So that is going to be how much? 2 raised to 7. Okay, so is this the answer? So 2 raised to 8 plus 2 raised to 7? No. Why? Because there are some strings. There are some strings. So here in 1, you will have some strings that also end with 00, right? And you will have some strings in this where they are already starting with 1. So my point is that if you consider this particular starting with 1 and ending with 00, they are already covered here, and if you consider 1 over here, then they are already counted over here, so they are double counted. So what we have to exclude is the strings that start with 1 and end with 00. Okay, so 9-bit string, just give me a minute. So you have to find out how many 9-bit strings are there that start with 1 and end with 0. So now look at this. This is very important. End with 0. Okay. So now I'll say 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So and then these are the 2. Okay. So here how many positions are there? So there are 6 positions. So ultimately 2 raised to 6 are strings that start with 1 and end with 0. Okay. So what you have to do is principle of inclusion and exclusion. So you have 2 raised to 8 that start with 1. You have 2 raised to 7 that end with 0, and you have 2 raised to 6 that actually starts with 1 and end with 0. Okay. So that you have to exclude. Why you have to exclude? Because they have already counted in this. So this will be somewhere, I think it is 256. 2 raised to 7 is how much? 128. And this is how much? 64. So this is going to be around 320. Okay. So this is what is the way to approach such type of questions. Any doubt in this? Let me know. Got it? What about others? Okay, shall we proceed with the next example? Okay. Now this is again the permutation combination type of example. So in how many ways can a committee member of 5 members can be formed out of 8 men and 5 women, such that, now this is what is the constraint, that at least 2 women should be there in each committee. Okay. So how many men are there? So total number of men are 8. Women, how many we have? We have 5 women, and at least 2 women should be there at each committee. So at least 2 women in each committee. Okay. So, and committee of 5 members have to be formed. Okay. And now since you have 5 women, now tell me, in the case number 1, so I say case number 1, can I have all 5 women? Yes, because the constraint says that at least 2 women. So you can have more than 2 women. So that is not a problem. So in the case number 1, I can have 5 women and ultimately 0 men. Got it? So I can select 5 women and 0 men. So that will be, what? I have to choose all 5 out of 5. So I have 5 women and I have to choose 5 women. That's it. And in the case number 2, what you can do? You can have 4 women. Okay, so I'll write a bracket over here. And now since you have 4 women, how many men will be there? There will be at least, there must be exactly 1 man. Okay, so I have 1 man and 4 women. So I have to choose what? Out of 5, I have to choose 4 women, and out of 8 men, I have to choose 1 man. So this is for case number 2, and like that. So let me insert space over here. So that is for case number 3. What will be the case number 3? I will have 3 women and 2 men. Okay, so that will result into choosing 3 women out of 5 and choosing 2 men out of 8. Okay, and like that, case number 4. Case number 4 is 2 women and now 3 men. Got it? And now since you have 2 women and 3 men, so ultimately you have to choose 2 women out of 5, and you have to choose 3 men out of 8. And now, what will be the case number 5? Case number 5 will be 1 woman and 4 men. That is not allowed because you have to have at least 2 women. So up to this, you are allowed to select the committee. Okay. Now, how many such committees are there? Total number of committees. So total committees that you will have is how much? 5 choose 5 plus 5 choose 4 into 8 choose 1 plus, for the next case, what is that? 5 choose 3 into 8 choose 2 plus choose 2 into choose 3. Okay. Now you can solve this and ultimately you'll get the final answer. So it is around, I think I have already solved that. So it is going to be 880. Okay. So solving this is not important. What is important is to consider how to approach to this particular solution. Okay. Got it? Any doubt in this? Yes. Let me know if you have any doubt. Okay, good. So this is one more question that had come in the, sorry, I have deleted that. That have come in the GATE examination. Okay, and this is a little interesting one. So in a party, 60% of the invited guests are male, 40% are female. So out of the total invited guests, 60% are male and 40% are female. And if 80% of the invited guests attended the party, and if all the invited female guests attended, okay, so it means that whatever is the percentage, all the female guests have come, few male have not come. So what would be the ratio? Understand each and every word, because ultimately you will land up in the wrong answer, not wrong answer, but you will not find the right answer. Okay. So you will find how many males have not attended or attended, but ultimately you have to find out the ratio of males to female among the attendees. Okay. So let us say that in the party, 60% of the invited guests are male and 40% are female. So I say that, let's say total invited, for example, let's say it is 100, okay, because it is very much easy to. Then what will be the male percentage? So it will be total 60 and sorry, I'll write female, not woman. It will be female is how many? 40. Okay, 60% of 100 is 40 and 40% is 40. Okay. Now 80% of the invited guests attended the party. So how many of attendees are there? So total number of attendees are 80%. So it is what? 80% of this 60 plus 40, okay, divided by 100. So it is going to be ultimately 80, okay, because 100, 80% of 100 is 80. Okay, so 80 are the attendees. And now what? Look what? All invited females have attended the party. So how many invited female are there? 40. So how many male attended? So male attendees. How many male attendees are there? So 80 minus 40. Why 40? So it says that all invited female guests have attended. So how many male attendees are there? 40. That's it. So now 40 are male attendees. Then how many female attendees are there? So ultimately female attendees are 40, because 80 minus this 40 is 40. Okay. And then what is the ratio? 40 is to 40. That is nothing but 1:1. Okay. That's it. So what is the ratio? It had come recently in 2018. So probably I have also appeared for that. I think it's 1:1. So what is the ratio of male to female attendees? It is 1:1. Okay. Going good? Any doubt in this? Okay. So shall we proceed with the next example? Yeah. Okay. Now this is a little complicated, but let us approach it. Okay. Okay. Now I request all of you to carefully read this particular question. Okay. This is related to the probability, conditional probability, as well as the Bayes theorem. Okay. So I will maybe explaining that if it is required. Okay. So suppose 0.5% of the population has a certain disease. Let's say that disease is D. Okay, and for the people with that disease, there is a test, and that test actually misclassify the disease. So 2% time that disease gives the wrong result. So for example, if say 100 people having the disease go under that test, so 2 of them will have false negative. Okay, and the people without the disease, okay, the test incorrectly tells that 3% of them have that disease. Means if say 100 fit person go to that through that test, then it will have a false positive of 3%. So false positive is 3% and false negative is 2%. Okay. Now what is asked is find the probability that a person picked at random will test positive. Okay. And there is another question that if the test is positive, then what is the probability that the person is having disease D? Okay. So let us approach the first question. That what is the probability that the person picked at random will test positive? Okay. Now there is a classical way to approach such type of questions. So there is a tree, probability tree that you can draw, and you can solve that particular question. Such types of questions. Okay. So let us draw it nicely over here. Okay, I'll say. So what is given that 0.5% of the population has a disease. Okay. So how many of you have disease? So let's say this is what is D. Okay. And this is you are not having D. So I say D bar. 0.5%. So it is how many? 0.005. Okay. And then 0.995 will not have that disease. Okay. Now look at this. 2% times that it gives the false negative. Okay. So means if you are having the disease and it gives you a negative result, you have this disease. Understand this. You have this disease. So this is going to be positive one. Okay. This is what is going to be positive one. You have the disease and it is giving negative. Okay. So how many times it gives negative? 2%. So it is 0.02. Okay. And then how many times it gives you positive? It gives you positive, obviously 90% times. Okay. And like that, what it says, 3% time it gives you false positive. So you are not having the disease. So this is what you are not having the disease. I just lost my power connection here. Okay, let us continue the discussion. Am I audible? Am I still audible?